The text message on my wife's phone was still glowing when I realized my 20-year marriage was over. Can't wait to feel you inside me again tonight, baby. Room 237 at the Seahorse Motel. M. I'm Eli Harper, and I fix things for a living. Boats, docks, broken pipes, busted engines, you name it. I can make it work again. But standing there in my own kitchen at 6 in the morning, holding Vanessa's phone while she showered upstairs, I knew this was one thing I couldn't repair. My hands didn't shake. That surprised me. 20 years of marriage, 15-year-old daughter Izzy sleeping upstairs, and my whole world just cracked like a rotten pier plank. But my hands stayed steady as granite. Dad, you're up early. Izzy padded into the kitchen wearing her ratty Red Sox pajamas, her dark hair a mess. She got my sharp eyes and quick wit, thank God. Nothing like her mother's fake sweetness. Couldn't sleep, kiddo. I slipped Vanessa's phone back where I'd found it, next to the coffee maker. Want some pancakes before school? Since when do you make pancakes on Tuesday? Izzy squinted at me with those detective eyes. Kid was too smart for her own good. Since I felt like being a good dad. The shower upstairs shut off. Vanessa would be down in 10 minutes, all perfumed and perfect, ready to sell another overpriced beach house to some city sucker, ready to lie to my face about working late again. Mom's been weird lately, Izzy said, pouring orange juice. She talks different on the phone now, all breathy and giggly. It's gross. Out of the mouths of babes. Different how? Like she's trying to sound sexy or something. Last night she was in the garage talking to someone, and I heard her say, I wish my husband was half the man you are. I thought she was talking about you, but... Izzy shrugged. She sounded mean. The pancake batter in my hands could have been concrete mix for all I tasted. Vanessa had been using our garage, my workshop, for her phone sex sessions. The disrespect burned worse than the betrayal. Izzy, honey, sometimes adults go through complicated things. You mean like affairs? I nearly dropped the mixing bowl. What do you know about affairs? I'm 15, Dad, not 5, and Mom's been acting like every cheating wife in every movie ever. Working late, new clothes, mysterious phone calls, sudden girls' trips. Izzy sat down hard in her chair. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Oh, before I could answer, Vanessa swept into the kitchen like she owned the world. At 36, she still turned heads. Blonde hair, green eyes, curves in all the right places. Real estate had been good to her. Apparently so had this M character. Morning, family. She kissed the top of Izzy's head, then pecked my cheek. Her perfume was different. Expensive. Pancakes? What's the occasion? Just felt like cooking. I flipped a pancake, watching her in the reflection of the kitchen window. She was texting someone, trying to be subtle about it. How was your evening? Oh, you know, boring paperwork. The Henderson property is being difficult. She didn't even look up from her phone. 20 years together, and she couldn't be bothered to make eye contact while lying to me. Must have been really boring. You were in the garage until almost midnight. Vanessa's thumbs stopped moving. Was I? I don't remember. Time flies when you're dealing with contracts. She laughed, but it sounded like breaking glass. I have 3 showings today, so I'll be late again. Don't wait up. Wouldn't dream of it. After they left, Vanessa in her BMW, Izzy on her bike to school, I sat in my kitchen and planned my next move. Most men in my situation would confront their wives, demand explanations, maybe throw some punches, but I've always been a methodical guy. You don't fix complex problems by swinging a hammer randomly. I called in sick to the dockyard and drove to the other side of town, to a little office above Murphy's Bar where Gina Suarez ran her private investigation business. Gina was ex-Boston PD, tough as nails, with a reputation for getting results and keeping her mouth shut. Eli Harper, she said when I walked in. Haven't seen you since you fixed my boat engine. What brings you to my office? I need you to follow my wife. Gina leaned back in her chair, studying me. Cheating? I'm pretty sure. I need proof. Pretty sure doesn't pay my bills. What makes you think she's stepping out? I told her about the text, the late nights, Izzy's observations. Gina took notes, asked smart questions, and quoted me a daily rate that made me wince. But some things are worth the investment. I'll need 3 days minimum to get you something solid, she said. Maybe a week, if she's being careful. She's not being careful. She thinks I'm too stupid to notice. Most cheaters do. Gina stood up and shook my hand. I'll start today. You just act normal. Don't change your routine. And Eli, whatever I find, don't do anything stupid when you see it. I drove home and spent the afternoon in my workshop, rebuilding a carburetor and thinking. The garage still smelled like Vanessa's perfume. I wondered how many times she'd stood in here, telling another man she wished her husband was different. Better, more exciting. When Izzy got home from school, she found me elbow-deep in engine parts. "Any revelations today?" she asked, settling on my workbench. "Just that your mother is exactly who I thought she was." "And who's that?" "Someone who doesn't respect the people who love her." Izzy nodded like this made perfect sense. "So what's the plan?" "The plan is you focus on school and let me handle this." "Dad, I'm not a little kid. If Mom's cheating, it affects me too. I deserve to know what's happening to our family." She was right, of course. Izzy had always been mature for her age, probably because Vanessa checked out of active parenting years ago. Most of the school conferences, bedtime stories, and heart-to-heart talks had fallen to me. "Okay," I said, "but promise me something. Whatever happens in the next few weeks, don't let it change who you are. Your mother's choices aren't your fault, and they don't define you." "Are you getting divorced?" "I don't know yet. I need to understand what I'm dealing with first." That evening, Vanessa came home at 11:30, claiming she'd been showing houses to a client from New York. She smelled like men's cologne and had that satisfied glow that used to be reserved for me. She went straight to bed without even asking about my day. I lay next to her in the dark, listening to her breathe, wondering how long this had been going on. Wondering if she'd ever really loved me, or if I'd just been the safe choice while she waited for something better to come along. My phone buzzed with a text from Gina. "Got some preliminary intel. Meet me tomorrow at Murphy's, 2 p.m. You're not going to like what I found." I stared at the ceiling until dawn, planning my revenge. Murphy's bar at 2 in the afternoon was exactly what you'd expect. Dim, smelling of stale beer and broken dreams, with Gina Suarez sitting in the back booth like she owned the place. She had a manila folder in front of her and the expression of someone about to deliver bad news. "Sit down, Eli. You want a drink for this?" "Just coffee. How bad is it?" Gina opened the folder and spread out a series of photographs like she was dealing cards. The first one showed Vanessa walking into the Seahorse Motel with a tall, muscular guy in an expensive suit. The second showed them kissing in the parking lot. The third showed them coming out of room 237 2 hours later, both looking thoroughly satisfied. "Meet Mason Reed," Gina said. 35, divorced, owns 3 gyms in the area. Your wife's been seeing him for at least 6 months, probably longer. I picked up one of the photos. Mason Reed looked exactly like what he was, a gym owner who spent too much time looking in mirrors. All muscles and white teeth and the kind of confidence that comes from never having to fix anything more complicated than a protein shake. 6 months? That's just what I can prove. Could be longer. Gina flipped to another photo. This was taken yesterday afternoon. They went to lunch at Chez Laurent, then spent 3 hours at his penthouse apartment downtown. The photo showed them on a restaurant patio, Vanessa laughing at something Mason was saying. She looked happier than I'd seen her in years. That hurt worse than the motel pictures. "There's more," Gina said. "Your wife's friends are involved too. Tara Brennan and Celeste Murphy. They've been covering for her, providing alibis. Yesterday, while Vanessa was with Mason, Tara told 3 different people that all 4 of you girls were shopping in Portland." "How do you know that?" "Because I followed Tara after I lost your wife. She spent the afternoon at the Marriott with some guy who definitely wasn't her husband. Celeste was there too. Different guy, different room. It's like a whole cheating club." I studied the photos, memorizing details. Mason's license plate number. The timestamp showing Vanessa entering the motel at 2:17 p.m. on a day she'd told me she was showing houses. Tara and Celeste laughing like conspirators outside the Marriott. "What else?" "Mason likes to talk. I got close to him at his gym, pretended to be interested in personal training. He's not exactly discreet about his conquests." Gina pulled out a small recording device. "Listen to this." Mason's voice came through the speaker, loud and arrogant. "Yeah, I'm banging this real estate agent. Married to some blue-collar loser who works at the docks. She says he's boring as hell, hasn't touched her in months. Can't blame her for wanting a real man, you know?" The recording continued with Mason describing intimate details about my wife, laughing about how easy it was to seduce her, joking about the pathetic husband who had no idea what was happening. "Turn it off," I said. "There's more. He talks about taking her away from you, maybe setting her up in business somewhere else. Says she deserves better than a broken-down handyman." I closed the folder and pushed it back across the table. "How much do I owe you?" "Eli, I know this is hard, but you need to think carefully about your next move. Guys like Mason, they don't like being embarrassed. And your wife? She's in deep. This isn't just a fling." "How much?" Gina named a figure. I paid her in cash and took the folder. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "I'm going to fix the problem." I drove home and hid the evidence in my workshop, inside an old toolbox that Vanessa never touched. Then I sat on my back porch, looking out at the harbor, and planned my strategy. Most people think revenge is about anger, but they're wrong. Good revenge is about precision. It's about understanding your enemy's weaknesses and exploiting them systematically. Mason Reed was arrogant and careless. Vanessa was vain and image-conscious. Tara and Celeste were gossips who thought they were smarter than everyone else. They'd all given me plenty to work with. When Izzy got home from school, she took one look at my face and knew. She's really cheating, isn't she? Yeah, kiddo. She really is. With who? I told her about Mason Reed, about the photos, about the 6-month timeline. Izzy listened without interrupting, her expression getting harder with each detail. What a piece of garbage, she said finally. Both of them. Language. Dad, she's been lying to us for 6 months. She's been using our house, our garage, our family as cover for her affair. And this Mason guy is talking about you like you're nothing. Screw language. She had a point. So what's the plan? Izzy asked. The plan is I handle this my way. You just focus on being 15. I want to help. Izzy. Dad, she's not just cheating on you. She's cheating on me too. Every lie she tells, every time she pretends to be working late, every fake girls trip, she's lying to both of us. I have a right to be angry about that. She was right again. Vanessa's betrayal affected our whole family, not just our marriage. Okay, I said, but we do this smart. No rushing, no mistakes. We make sure every move counts. What do you need me to do? For now, just pay attention. Your mother's going to start acting differently once I confront her. I need to know everything she says, everyone she calls, everywhere she goes. You're going to confront her? Tonight. But not the way she expects. Vanessa came home at 7:30, full of stories about difficult clients and complicated contracts. She'd stopped trying to make her lies believable, which told me she thought I was completely clueless. How was your day, honey? She asked, kissing my cheek with lips that had been on another man 6 hours earlier. Interesting. I learned some new things about problem solving. Oh? Like what? Like how sometimes the best way to fix something is to take it apart completely and start over. Vanessa gave me a strange look, but didn't ask what I meant. She was too busy texting to pay attention to her husband's cryptic comments. After dinner, while she was in the shower, I went through her phone again. New messages from Mason, making plans for tomorrow afternoon, messages from Tara and Celeste, coordinating their cover stories, a whole digital trail of deception that Vanessa thought was private. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself from her account. Then I deleted the sent messages. If Vanessa wanted to play games, I'd show her how a real strategist operated. When she came downstairs in her robe, I was sitting in my chair reading a book about boat restoration. I'm tired, she announced. Long day. I'm going to bed early. Actually, I was hoping we could talk. About what? About us. About where we're going. Vanessa's face went carefully neutral. What do you mean? I mean, I've been thinking about our marriage lately, about whether we're both getting what we need from it. Eli, I'm really tired. Can we do this another time? It'll just take a few minutes. I closed my book and looked at her directly. Are you happy, Vanessa? What kind of question is that? A simple one. Are you happy being married to me? She sat down on the couch, suddenly wary. Why are you asking me this? Because I want to know. Because after 20 years, I think we owe each other honesty. Of course I'm happy. We have a good life, a beautiful daughter, a nice home. That's not what I asked. I asked if you're happy being married to me specifically. Vanessa was quiet for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice was different, colder. I think we've grown apart, she said. I think we want different things now. What do you want? I want excitement, passion, someone who appreciates me for who I am, not just what I do for them. And you don't think I appreciate you? Eli, when was the last time you surprised me? When was the last time you made me feel special or beautiful or desired? You treat me like a roommate, not a wife. I nodded like this made sense. So you've been looking elsewhere for those feelings? Her eyes went wide. What are you talking about? I'm talking about Mason Reed. The color drained from Vanessa's face. For a moment, she looked like she might deny it. Then something shifted in her expression, and I saw the real woman underneath the lies. How long have you known? She asked. Long enough? Are you going to ask me to stop seeing him? Would you if I did? Vanessa looked at me for a long time. No, she said finally. I wouldn't. Then I guess we both know where we stand. I went upstairs, leaving her sitting alone in the living room. Through my bedroom window, I could see her in the backyard, pacing back and forth while she talked on her phone, probably calling Mason or Tara or Celeste, probably planning her next move. That was fine. I was planning mine too. The next morning, Vanessa was gone before I woke up. She'd left a note on the kitchen counter. Gone to Portland for a client meeting. Back late. Don't wait up. V. Izzy read it over my shoulder while I made coffee. Portland, huh? Is that where Mason lives? No, Mason lives here in town, but I bet that's where she's going anyway. What's the plan, Dad? I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots I'd taken from Vanessa's messages. The plan is we let everyone show their true colors, then we respond accordingly. Izzy studied the messages, her face getting darker with each one. She's talking about you like you're some kind of loser. And look at this. She told Mason she's thinking about asking for a divorce so they can be together. I saw that. Doesn't it make you angry? Anger is just energy without direction. I prefer focused energy. I called in sick to work again and spent the morning making phone calls. First to a divorce lawyer to understand my options and protect my interests. Then to my bank to secure our joint accounts and get copies of all recent transactions. Then to a few old friends who worked in various useful professions. By noon, I had a clear picture of my situation and a plan for improving it. Gina called while I was eating lunch. Your wife and Mason are at the Ocean View Resort in Portland. Checked in under Mr. and Mrs. Reed. Thought you should know. Thanks. Can you get photos? Already on it. But Eli, there's something else. I did some digging on Mason Reed. Guy's got a history, 2 previous affairs with married clients, 1 restraining order from an ex-girlfriend, and some questionable business practices at his gyms. He's not just a cheater, he's a predator. What kind of business practices? Overcharging, hidden fees, intimidating customers who complain. I found 3 women who say he pressured them for sexual favors in exchange for personal training. Nothing prosecuted, but a clear pattern. Send me everything you have on him. Eli, what are you planning? I'm planning to solve several problems at once. That afternoon, while Vanessa was in Portland with her boyfriend, I drove to Mason's main gym. It was one of those flashy places with floor-to-ceiling windows, expensive equipment, and membership fees that could feed a family for a month. Mason's office was on the 2nd floor, overlooking the workout area like a throne room. I didn't go inside. Instead, I sat in my truck across the street and watched. Mason arrived at 3 o'clock in a red Corvette that probably cost more than I made in 2 years. He spent 20 minutes in his office, then came down to the gym floor to schmooze with clients and check out the women in yoga pants. Everything about him screamed arrogance and entitlement, the way he touched people without permission, the way he laughed too loud at his own jokes, the way he looked at himself in every mirror he passed. This was a man who'd never been truly challenged in his life. That was about to change. I drove home and called Izzy's school, telling them she had a dentist appointment and I'd be picking her up early. When she got in the truck, she was practically vibrating with excitement. What's happening? Did you confront Mason? Are we going to key his car? We're not going to do anything illegal or stupid. We're going to be smart about this. I drove to the harbor and parked near the docks where I worked. The afternoon shift was just ending, and I knew most of the guys would be stopping at Mickey's Tavern for a few beers before heading home. Why are we here? Izzy asked. Because information is power, and I need to share some information with the right people. Mickey's Tavern was exactly what you'd expect from a dockworker bar. Dark, loud, and full of men who worked with their hands and didn't have much patience for pretension. I'd been drinking there for 15 years, and these guys were like family to me. Eli, Mickey called out when we walked in. And Miss Izzy, what brings you two here? Need to talk to the boys about something, I said. Izzy, you want a Coke? Word spread quickly that I had something to say, and within 10 minutes I had an audience of about 20 dock workers, fishermen, and boat mechanics. These were good men who believed in loyalty, hard work, and taking care of their own. Some of you know my wife, Vanessa, I began. Real estate agent, drives the white BMW, thinks she's too good for this part of town. A few nods and chuckles. Vanessa had never been popular with my work friends. Well, turns out she's been cheating on me for 6 months with some gym owner named Mason Reed. Guy thinks dock workers are beneath him, calls us blue-collar losers, says we're not real men. The mood in the room shifted immediately. These guys might joke around with each other, but they didn't tolerate outsiders insulting their community. You want us to pay him a visit? Asked Tommy Kowalski, who was about 6'4" and had fists like canned hams. Nothing like that, but I thought you should know what kind of man he is, in case any of you run into him around town. I pulled out my phone and showed them Mason's photo. Drives a red Corvette, owns 3 gyms, likes to brag about his conquests. Just thought you'd want to recognize him if you see him." The message was received and understood. Mason Reed had just made enemies of every working man in the Harbor District. He didn't know it yet, but his life was about to get very uncomfortable. After we left the bar, Izzy was quiet for a while. "That was smart," she said finally. "You didn't ask them to do anything, but they're going to make his life miserable anyway. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting people know who they're really dealing with." "What's next?" "Next, we deal with your mother's accomplices." That evening, I made a few more phone calls. Tara Brennan worked as a bookkeeper for a small accounting firm. Her husband Dave was a decent guy who coached Little League and had no idea his wife was cheating on him. Celeste Murphy was a teacher at the elementary school, married to a firefighter named Rick who thought he had the perfect wife. Both women were about to learn that actions have consequences. I didn't have to do much research on Tara and Celeste. Small towns are gossip mills, and I'd been listening to their drama for years without really paying attention. Now I made some phone calls to mutual friends, asking casual questions, piecing together timelines. It didn't take long to figure out that Tara was sleeping with her boss at the accounting firm, and Celeste was having an affair with the principal at her school. Both women thought they were being discreet, but they were just as careless as Vanessa. By the time Vanessa came home from her client meeting in Portland, I had enough information to destroy 3 marriages and several careers. The question was how to use it most effectively. "How was Portland?" I asked when she walked in at 11 p.m., smelling like expensive hotel soap and guilt. "Exhausting. The clients were very demanding." She wouldn't look me in the eye. "I'm going straight to bed. Vanessa, we need to talk about what happens next." "What do you mean?" "I mean, we both know this marriage is over. The question is how we handle it." She turned to face me, and for a moment I saw something that might have been relief in her eyes. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying maybe it's time we both stopped pretending." "Eli, I never meant for things to happen this way." "But they did happen, and now we have to deal with the consequences." Vanessa sat down on the couch, suddenly looking exhausted. "What do you want from me?" "I want you to be honest. With me, with Izzy, with yourself. No more lies, no more games. Just the truth." "The truth is I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for a long time. And yes, I'm seeing someone else. And yes, I care about him. I'm sorry if that hurts you, but I can't keep pretending anymore." "Thank you." That's all I wanted to hear. Vanessa looked surprised. "That's it? You're not going to fight for us?" "What would I be fighting for? A woman who doesn't want to be here? A marriage that's been dead for months? No, Vanessa. I'm not going to fight for that." "So what happens now?" "Now we figure out the details. Custody, property division, all of that. But we do it like adults, not like enemies?" Vanessa nodded slowly. "I think that's best for everyone." "Just one thing," I said. "Izzy comes first. Whatever else happens, whatever else we disagree about, our daughter's well-being comes first. Agreed?" "Of course." "Good. Then we understand each other." I went upstairs, leaving Vanessa alone with her thoughts and her phone. Through my bedroom window, I could see her pacing in the backyard again, probably calling Mason to tell him about our conversation. That was fine. Let them think they'd won. Let them think I was going to roll over and make this easy for them. They had no idea what was coming. The next morning, I woke up to find Vanessa already gone and a text message on my phone from an unknown number. "Your wife says you're okay with us being together. Just wanted to make sure there's no hard feelings. Mason." I showed the message to Izzy over breakfast. She read it twice, then looked at me with disgust. "He's gloating. Mom told him you were being reasonable, and now he's rubbing it in your face. Probably. Aren't you angry?" "I'm focused." I texted Mason back. "No hard feelings. She's all yours." His response came immediately. "Appreciate it, man. You're being really cool about this." Like I said, focused, I told Izzy. After she left for school, I spent the morning making final preparations. Phone calls to lawyers, banks, and a few other professionals. By noon, everything was in place. The first domino fell at 12:30 p.m. Dave Brennan called me at home, his voice shaking with rage. "Eli, I just got some photos in the mail. Pictures of Tara with some guy at a hotel. There was a note saying she's been covering for Vanessa's affair. Is this true?" "I'm sorry, Dave. I was hoping you wouldn't have to find out this way." "How long have you known?" "I just found out myself. I hired a private investigator to follow Vanessa, and Tara got caught in the net." Dave was quiet for a moment. "The note said there were other wives involved." "Celeste Murphy?" "Yeah, I'm sorry, man." "Jesus Christ, how many people knew about this?" "Too many, but now everyone knows." Dave hung up without saying goodbye. 20 minutes later, Rick Murphy called with the same story. Then Celeste's principal called, asking if I knew anything about anonymous photos that had been sent to the school board. By 2 o'clock, my phone was ringing constantly. Vanessa's carefully constructed network of lies was collapsing in real time, and everyone involved was scrambling to figure out what had happened. The second domino fell at 3:15 p.m. Mason called, no longer sounding friendly. "What the hell did you do?" "I don't know what you mean." "Someone sent photos of me and Vanessa to my ex-wife. She's threatening to take me back to court over alimony, and 3 of my gym members canceled their memberships today after someone told them I was sleeping with married women." "That's unfortunate. Did you do this?" "Mason, you texted me this morning asking if there were hard feelings. I told you there weren't. That was the truth." "Then who?" "Maybe you should ask yourself how many people you've bragged to about your conquests. Small towns talk, Mason. Word gets around." He hung up on me. The third domino fell at 4:30 p.m. Vanessa came home early, slamming the door so hard the windows rattled. She found me in my workshop, calmly organizing tools. "What did you do?" she demanded. "I cleaned my workbench. It was getting cluttered." "Don't play games with me, Eli. Tara's husband threw her out of the house. Celeste is probably going to lose her job. Mason's business is falling apart. What did you do?" I told the truth. "To who?" "To anyone who asked. You said you wanted honesty, remember? No more lies, no more games, just the truth." Vanessa's face was red with anger. "You vindictive bastard. You destroyed innocent people's lives." "Innocent?" I put down my wrench and looked at her directly. "Tara and Celeste helped you lie to me for 6 months. They provided alibis, covered your tracks, and laughed about what a fool I was behind my back. Mason bragged about sleeping with you to anyone who would listen, called me a loser, and talked about taking you away from your family. Which one of them is innocent?" "They were just trying to help me be happy." "They were helping you destroy our family. There's a difference." Vanessa started to cry, but they were angry tears, not sad ones. "You could have just divorced me quietly. We could have worked something out." "We still can. Nothing's changed about that." "Everything's changed. My friends hate me. Mason's furious. Everyone in town is talking about me like I'm some kind of slut." "Actions have consequences, Vanessa. You made choices, and now you get to live with the results. I never meant to hurt you. But you did hurt me. You hurt Izzy. You hurt our marriage, our family, our home. You turned our garage into your personal phone booth for talking dirty to another man. You used our friends, our community, our whole life as cover for your affair. And you never once considered how that might affect anyone but yourself." Vanessa was sobbing now, but I felt nothing. No sympathy, no regret, no desire to comfort her. She'd burned those bridges herself. "What do you want from me?" she asked. "I want you to pack a bag and stay somewhere else for a while. Give us all some space to figure out what comes next." "Where am I supposed to go? Tara and Celeste aren't speaking to me. Mason says he needs time to think." "That sounds like a you problem." Vanessa stared at me like she was seeing a stranger. "You're not the man I married." "No, I'm not. The man you married would have blamed himself for your affair. He would have begged you to stay, promised to change, maybe even agreed to counseling. But that man died when I read your text messages. What you're looking at now is what's left." She went upstairs to pack. I could hear her on the phone, calling hotels, calling friends, probably calling Mason to see if she could stay with him. From the sound of her voice, she wasn't having much luck. When Izzy got home from school, she found Vanessa loading suitcases into her BMW. "Where are you going?" Izzy asked. "I'm staying at the Marriott for a few days, just until things calm down." "What things?" Vanessa looked at me helplessly. I nodded for her to continue. "Your father and I are getting divorced, honey. I know this is hard, but sometimes adults just grow apart." "Because you're cheating on Dad?" Vanessa's face went white. "Who told you that?" "Nobody had to tell me. I'm not blind." Izzy's voice was cold, older than her 15 years. "I know about Mason Reed. I know about the lies, the fake girls' trips, all of it." "Izzy, sweetheart, it's complicated." "No, it's not. You cheated on Dad, you lied to both of us, and now you're mad because there are consequences. It's actually pretty simple." Vanessa started crying again. "I never wanted you to get hurt." "Then you shouldn't have cheated on my father." There wasn't much to say after that. Vanessa finished packing and drove away, leaving Izzy and me alone in our house for the first time in months. "How do you feel?" I asked my daughter. "Relieved," she said. "Is that terrible?" "No, kiddo. It's honest." That evening, while we ate pizza and watched TV, my phone rang one more time. It was Gina Suarez. Thought you should know, she said. Mason Reed's ex-wife filed papers today to reopen their divorce settlement. Apparently, the original agreement had a morality clause that he violated. She's going after his gym businesses, his apartment, everything. Interesting. Also, word around town is that his gym memberships are dropping fast. Turns out people don't like working out with guys who brag about breaking up families. The free market in action. Eli, what you did today, it was surgical, precise. Everyone got exactly what they deserved, and you never broke a single law. I just told the truth to people who deserve to know it. Right. Well, the truth has consequences. Mason Reed's life is falling apart. Tara and Celeste are both facing divorces and career problems, and your wife is persona non grata in half the town. What about the other half? They're waiting to see what you do next. After I hung up, Izzy looked at me with something like admiration. You really did it, didn't you? You got revenge on all of them without doing anything wrong. I solved a problem. There's a difference. What happens now? Now we rebuild. New life, new rules, new respect for the people who matter. Just us? Just us. That night I slept better than I had in months. The house was quiet, peaceful, honest for the first time in half a year. No more lies, no more pretending, no more wondering what was real. Tomorrow would bring lawyers and paperwork and all the messy details of divorce. But tonight, my daughter and I were home, and we were safe, and we were free. Sometimes that's enough. 3 weeks later, Mason Reed made his biggest mistake yet. I was working late in my shop when Izzy burst through the door, her face flushed with anger and fear. Dad, Mason's outside. He's been sitting in his car for 20 minutes just watching the house. I looked out the window and saw the red Corvette parked across the street. Even in the dim light, I could see Mason behind the wheel, staring at our house like he was planning something. Go inside and lock the doors, I told Izzy. Call 911 if anything happens. What are you going to do? I'm going to find out what he wants. I walked across the street and tapped on Mason's window. He rolled it down, and I could smell alcohol on his breath. Evening, Mason. Something I can help you with? You destroyed my life, he said, his words slightly slurred. My business is failing. My ex-wife is taking everything. Vanessa won't even talk to me anymore. All because of you. All because of choices you made. I just made sure people knew about them. I loved her? You used her. There's a difference. Mason got out of the car, and I could see he was drunk and angry and looking for someone to blame. He was bigger than me, younger, in better shape. Under normal circumstances, he could probably take me in a fight. But these weren't normal circumstances, and I wasn't planning to fight fair. You think you're so smart, Mason said, stepping closer. You think you won, but you just lost the only woman who ever loved you. Mason, you're drunk. Go home before you do something stupid. Stupid? You want to see stupid? He pulled out his phone and showed me a video. This is your precious wife, telling me how much she hates you, how she wishes you were dead, how she can't wait to take half of everything you own. The video showed Vanessa in what looked like a hotel room, crying and ranting about how I'd ruined her life. She was saying terrible things, cruel things, things designed to hurt me as much as possible. She recorded this yesterday, Mason said. Right before she told me she never wanted to see me again. Guess what? I'm going to post it online. Let the whole town see what she really thinks of their hero. That would be a mistake. Would it? Because I think people deserve to know what kind of woman they're defending. Mason was swaying slightly, his finger hovering over his phone screen. He was drunk enough to do something incredibly stupid and angry enough not to care about the consequences. Mason, listen to me very carefully. If you post that video, you'll destroy whatever chance you have of rebuilding your life. Vanessa's already gone. Your business is already failing. Your ex-wife is already taking your money, but you still have a choice about what happens next. What choice? You can walk away from this. Delete that video, get in your car, and drive home. Start over somewhere else, maybe learn from your mistakes. Or you can post that video and find out what happens when you really make me angry. Mason laughed, but it sounded hollow. What are you going to do? Send more anonymous letters? Tell more people the truth about me? I'm going to show this whole town exactly what kind of man you really are. How? I pulled out my own phone and showed him the screen. I'd been recording our entire conversation. You just threatened to post a private video of my wife online while drunk outside my house where my 15-year-old daughter can see you. That's harassment, cyberbullying, and public intoxication. One phone call to the police, and you'll be spending the night in jail. Mason's face went pale. You're bluffing. Am I? Because I've got 20 dock workers who would love an excuse to pay you a visit. I've got a private investigator who's documented every stupid thing you've done for the past month. And I've got a whole town that's already decided you're the villain in this story. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. But more than that, Mason, I've got something you'll never have. I've got the respect of people who matter. I've got a daughter who loves me. I've got a community that has my back. What do you have? Mason looked around as if seeing his situation clearly for the first time. His business was failing, his ex-wife was destroying him in court, Vanessa had dumped him, and he was standing drunk outside my house making threats he couldn't back up. Delete the video, Mason. What? Delete it. Right now, in front of me. Why would I do that? Because if you don't, I'm going to make sure everyone in this town knows you tried to blackmail me with revenge porn of my wife. How do you think that's going to play with your remaining gym members? With the judge in your divorce case? With any woman who might consider dating you in the future? Mason stared at his phone for a long moment. Then, with shaking hands, he deleted the video. Smart choice, I said. Now get in your car and drive away. Don't come back to my street. Don't contact my family. Don't even think about us. Find somewhere else to rebuild your life. And maybe next time don't build it on other people's marriages. Mason got back in his Corvette without another word. I watched him drive away, then went inside to check on Izzy. Is he gone? She asked. He's gone, and he won't be back. What did he want? To blame someone else for his problems, but he figured out that wasn't going to work. The next morning, I heard through the harbor grapevine that Mason had put his remaining gym up for sale and was leaving town. His ex-wife had won a major victory in court, and he was essentially bankrupt. Word was he was moving to Florida to start over. Good riddance. Vanessa called that afternoon, crying and apologetic. Mason had told her about our confrontation, and she was terrified that I was going to make her life even worse. Eli, please, I know I hurt you, but I'm begging you. Don't destroy me completely. I'll give you whatever you want in the divorce. I'll stay away from Izzy if that's what you prefer. Just please don't make this any worse. Vanessa, I'm not trying to destroy you. I'm trying to protect my daughter and move on with my life. If you want to do the same, then let's work together to make this divorce as clean as possible. You mean that? I mean it. But no more games, no more lies, no more drama. We handle this like adults, or I handle it my way. Okay, yes, whatever you want. 2 months later, our divorce was final. Vanessa got a small settlement and moved to Portland, where she took a job with a different real estate company. She sees Izzy every other weekend, and they're slowly rebuilding their relationship. Mason Reed disappeared completely. I heard he tried to open a gym in Tampa, but couldn't get financing. His ex-wife got everything, and he ended up working as a personal trainer at someone else's gym. Tara and Celeste both got divorced. Tara lost her job and moved in with her sister. Celeste kept her teaching position, but had to transfer to a different school. Both women learned that actions have consequences, and that loyalty matters. As for me, I kept my job at the docks, kept my house, and kept my daughter. I learned that sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people face the natural consequences of their choices. I learned that truth is more powerful than anger, and that patience is more effective than violence. Most importantly, I learned that some things can't be fixed, but that doesn't mean they can't be replaced with something better. Izzy and I have a good life now. Honest, peaceful, built on respect and trust. We eat dinner together every night. We talk about real things, and we don't have to wonder what's true and what's a lie. Sometimes that's all the victory you need.